Hey everyone, Jackson Hayes here. So for this video, we're going to be doing a bit of a Q&A. I realized I haven't done one in quite a few weeks. Actually, quite a few months, not weeks. So yeah, I realized it was probably time to do one. And so I asked you guys over on Twitter and Instagram what you guys want to know. And here are your questions. And per usual, if I mispronounce your name or just say like the first letter of your name because I just don't even want to try, I'm sorry. I'm just not good at pronunciating. Not good at pronunciating English. Not good at pronouncing names. So that's a thing. And yeah, I'm also a little bit sick, so you might be hearing that. But anyway, let's get into the questions. So our first question is from Alex Blokin, and he asks, if you could only use a prime lens for the rest of your life, which one would you pick? Okay, so first of all, a prime lens. A prime lens is a type of lens that cannot zoom in or out. It has a fixed focal length. There are some benefits, things like there's no moving parts with the zoom mechanism, and it also is much sharper because it doesn't have to zoom. So prime lenses do have lots of benefits. I think at first people might be kind of surprised, like why would you ever want a prime lens? Because you probably always want to zoom in and out, and that's not really the case. This lens I'm using right now is a prime lens. It's a 50mm f1.8. It's just a kind of a cheap lens, but it does the job quite well, and it's quite sharp for what the price range is. As far as a lens that I would pick and use only for the rest of my life, I think it'd have to be an 85mm. Probably the Canon L glass, the f1.4, I believe it is, 85mm. That one seems quite the nice lens, although I'm planning on switching to Sony, to something like the A7 III or maybe A7S III. If I went there, I would probably go with the Batis 85mm f1.8. That one also seems like quite a nice lens. And yeah, so that'd be what I'd do. It'd be an 85 super tight lens. Pedro asks, how do you like your steak? Medium rare. Yeah, just not where it's completely dry, but like I like a little bit of juice. I like a little bit of juice in my meat. Oh, that sounds wrong. Yeah, medium rare. Okay, let's move on. Lewis asks, what's your morning routine before work/college? I don't go to work, and I'm not in college. I'm 17. Maybe going to college next year. Not sure about that. I just hate school. But before school, before work, in the summer, I had a very, very, very good morning routine. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. I'd go to the gym by 6. I'd get home by around 6:50. I would take a shower, then get work done on the computer, and then get to school, right? So it was a really nice routine. I wish I still had it, but I've gotten a little sick, so that's kind of hampered my ability to wake up early because my throat hurts. And then also it's kind of becoming a little bit of a winter feel, so things are colder, so it's like nice to snuggle in your bed. And so yeah, my morning routine has gone to crap lately. I really want to start waking up at least 6. Like I've been getting up at 7, which is like, oh my gosh. But I'd like to start getting up again at 5, and like ideally I'd wake up at 5, eat breakfast, get to the gym by 6, get back by 7, get some work done on the computer or whatever, and then, get to school, get to work or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my ideal morning routine. My current morning routine is wake up at 7, freak out that I slept in so late, and just like rush through breakfast, and then haven't been going to the gym lately because of time and school and all that. But yeah, it's currently very bad, but I want to make it better. So yeah. Ratul asks, will you be reviewing the Poco Phone F1? So I've heard about this phone. It's this really impressively spec'd out phone for not a lot of money. It reminds me a lot of like the original OnePlus phones, where they were like crazy good specs for not a lot of money. It's even cheaper than like the OnePlus 6 right now. And so it's a great phone, but I don't really have much interest in buying it myself. If Poco wants to send it, Poco Phone, I don't know who actually makes it, so that's a problem. But if the manufacturer wants to send it to me for review, that'd be awesome, but I doubt that's happening, so I probably won't be reviewing the phone. Sorry. Darren Menezes asks, sorry if I mispronounced that, what gear, camera, lenses, lighting do you recommend for people on a super tight sub $500 budget to get started with YouTube? As $500 is like an entire month's income for many developing countries, such as here in India. So first of all, thanks for watching from India. That's pretty awesome. But so as far as gear, I think before we talk about gear, I think it's important to understand that gear is not everything. And you'll see this a lot on YouTube, where people say that you should just get started, and that is 100% true. If you just wait and try to save up for the right gear and get the perfect camera and the perfect lens and the perfect light and then start, that's not the best way to go about it. The reason is, even if you have the greatest camera, the greatest lens, the greatest light, everything like that, you're probably not going to make the greatest videos. And the reason is you won't have the experience and you won't have the know-how on how to make videos. So even if you have just a smartphone right now, just start making videos with that. Now, after you've started with your smartphone, or if you don't have a smartphone that takes good video, and again, smartphones can take very good videos, so don't just think that, just because it's on DSLR that it can't take a good video, because many phones can. If you're looking to actually buy something and invest a little bit of money into your YouTube or whatever kind of videos you want to make, I'd recommend just getting a DSLR. I wouldn't care about the lights, I wouldn't care about the lenses. Just get a cheap DSLR with a kit lens. It doesn't have to be a fancy lens. Just get something basic. And the reason for that is because you can really learn a lot from even the most basic DSLR. If you got the most expensive DSLR, that's gonna be really hard to get used to and understand how to use. Whereas if you get something that's pretty cheap, it'll have all the advanced features of something more expensive, but it won't be that expensive. So under $500, I'd go with something like the Canon SL2, which I'm not sure about the naming scheme. It might be the 200D. Let me look that up. Yeah, it's the 200D, and it was recently released, and it seems like a really good starter camera. So I've seen it, some places they sell for like $650, but I've seen also it for like $450, around that price range. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. But again, just try to get started with what you've got, because you can learn a lot and make some pretty amazing stuff with something as simple as a smartphone. LS2 asks, Red or Alexa if given the choice? Well, first of all, I don't really know much about either of those cameras because I'm not planning on buying either of those cameras, so I've never really looked into it. I do know that I believe the Red can shoot higher resolution than the Alexa, if you get the Monstro 8K, but that might be outdated information. So yeah, I don't really know. They're both very expensive, very good cameras that I've seen, plenty of movies been shot with. So I mean, either one really. If I had the choice, it'd just be like, give me whatever you've got. But yeah, sorry, I don't have a really concrete answer there, but yeah. Okay, so jumping over to Instagram, @MobileDummy asks, what made you want to take up photography/cinematography and tech? So I really enjoy technology. I've always been really into it. At one point I was doing web development, which I technically still am for one more client, but I'm trying to wrap that up and move over completely to video and photo. But yeah, I've always really been into technology, understood it. I'm always the person who people will be like, oh, can you fix this problem? And I'll be able to fix it pretty quickly because it's like obvious to me, but not to them or whatever. So yeah, I've just had kind of like a natural knack for photography, for tech. As far as photography, cinematography, I might have answered this in my first Q&A, but it's been a while, so I answer it again. I was never really into photography or cinematography growing up until about 2 years ago. 3 years, 3 years ago, I started watching Peter McKinnon, and I was like, wow, video and photo is actually kind of cool. It's not this thing that mom wants me to do all the time, for school or whatever. So I started playing around with it, and I realized I really, really like it. My mom always told me that I had some sort of like knack for like composition and things like that, but I was always like, photography, boring. And now I'm doing it as my job, or cinematography as my job, so that's pretty cool. But as far as cinematography goes, it's a little bit of a different story. So whenever I watch a movie or see a TV show, there's always a part of me that's like, if I could only be in that movie. And not in the movie as in like acting, but more in that movie as in the world of that movie. Like, it'd be so cool to be a Jedi, it'd be so cool to be a secret agent or whatever, right? But you can't. I mean, like a secret agent, I guess you could go and join the CIA or whatever, but that's not something I really want to do. Yet I love the story and stuff. So I realized after a little bit of time that I was like, maybe I want to make these kind of things. Maybe I want to make movies. Maybe I want to make TV shows and things like that. And so that's what I've been pursuing for the past couple years, 2 years, I guess now, trying to hone my craft. And I have been kind of leaning more so towards the cinematography aspect of it. So I might more be a DP than a director, but I do want to try directing a little bit. So I'm working on a short film right now. It's in very early stages, so it's not going to be out anytime soon. But I want to make movies, basically. I'm doing tech right now just because it's something I enjoy, obviously. But at some point, I do want to try to transition over to storytelling. It doesn't have to be like traditional media, like actual in theaters or in TVs or whatever. But, well, I guess TVs would be YouTube, so you could just put it on your TV. But you know what I mean. Not traditional sense. I'm totally fine with doing short films like for YouTube or for like Netflix kind of thing. But yeah, I really enjoy storytelling. I enjoy cinematography, photography, and tech, and that's kind of where that is right now. At Nicholas_so asks, what camera do you use to do filmmaking? I'm currently shooting, I almost dropped the phone. I'm currently shooting on the Canon 80D, which I believe's called, I don't know the European number, but yeah, Canon 80D, which ADD, 80D. That's one thing I hate about that camera is the name. Anyway, the 80D, I use that as my main camera. I don't really have any others aside from like my phones. So that's what I'm using right now. It shoots 1080p up to 60 frames per second, which is nice for a little bit of slow-mo. I don't use slow-mo all too much unless I need a clip that can like last long. So I'll just throw it in slow-mo, slow it down in post. It's a great camera. I wish it could shoot 4K. I wish it had internal stabilization, but it doesn't. So yeah, it's great right now, but I'm planning on upgrading to something like the A7 III or A7S III sometime down the road. At badjo.jpg asks, how old are you, buddy? I am 17, almost 18, but still 17. Well, that's it. That's pretty much all the time I have to answer questions today. Thanks so much for sending your questions in. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you like cinematic tech videos, hit that subscribe button and pop that bell. Thanks, and I'll see y'all later.